Iversville, broadcasting tonight in field in Rolling Spring, Pennsylvania, with the Scarlet Dragons of Central High with a record of 6-1 tie, leading the Group A Intercounty Conference. Play host to the Northern Bedford Black Panthers of with a record of 8-0, who are in the Group B Intercounty Conference. Tonight, the championship, and we'll be back with more about them. But first, this word from Merle Eversole.
Brought to you by Feather Petroleum of Martinsburg. Another Phillips 66 product, Feather Service. Varner's Pharmacy of Roaring Spring. Remedies, photo service and cosmetics, accurate prescription service. Silver Insurance and Real Estate of Roaring Spring. And satisfaction, our greatest concern. Dog Restaurant of Roaring Spring, home of Rover, the Coney dog.
Yes, root beer. Thank you, man. And Jim Williams and Benny Conlon, along with Scarlet Dragons, as I previously mentioned, was coming into tonight's game with a record 1 loss and 1 tie. The tie being a 20-20 close one to tie run, and the 1 loss being suffered at the hands of Aldersburg when they successfully completed a 2-point conversion. And as I mentioned, Central is leading in the Group A Inter-County Conference Championship. Tonight's game will decide it. Jim, this is a big one. The fans are all around. The sidelines, all the bases are full. Coming in. Butterflies out there, and the Black Panthers haven't come out in the field yet, but the Dragons are warming up. Fired up. This is the big one. Okay, Jim, and speaking about butterflies, we all have them. Denny Conan, we're glad you're here this one tonight. Well, thanks to Denny. Should be a real good ball game. Like I said this morning, we can say about it, that it's decided out there by the football game. It's their game. Well, we look for real game. Lou Yurt, we've been talking now on the Central side. We'll switch over to the Bedford side here. We're going to try to be as impartial as we can, but at least we've got an equal balance here. Lou, the Black Panthers coming in here. No, they've got 275 points, while the opposition only 25. What kind of things do you look for, Louis? Well, then we look for this tonight. We know this is a big Central team playing a little thick Northern Bedford team. I'm sure the boys from Northern Bedford are going to throw a bit of time after tonight. Okay, and Zach Jordan just such an outstanding job today on our remote, and we didn't get a chance to say hello to your wife. I think we ought to tell the public that Zach operated today and tonight under duress. His wife, his lovely wife, Joyce, was taken to the hospital as an emergency patient, but Zach, working on the old adage that the show must go on, was there today and did a beautiful job on our sports show, and we want to thank Joyce, his wife, and wish her well. Zach, how do you see the game? Well, thank you, Danny. This is that's the biggest game in the 12-year history of Northern Bedford. There is no, and they're one step away from accomplishing something that they've never done before. That's an undisputed football season, but I'm sure that Harry Clark and his very fine football team are going to have a little something to say about that. But Danny, I understand it'll be an interesting game and a very close game. To get around here, and we might do a little speculating. As you know, I believe that I would safely say, and this is strictly a calculated guess on my part, I look for Central to literally try to jam the ball right down Northern Bedford's throat. I look for a running team right off tackle all night to try to test this controversy. I think that stand-up defense at Northern Bedford is used so successfully on. And frankly, I look for Northern Bedford come up with some new plays here tonight, Lou and Jack. I think that if Stevie Elvin or Ralph Miller try to throw from the pocket, they're going to get clobbered. If Central is vulnerable, if they have a weakness, I would say that weakness with a roll-out passer. Jim?
I think what you say, Denny. Coach Clark sure has something in his hip pocket that he might want to use. Mr. Yacino is a good young coach. He's a bright young fellow. He's got a lot of boys with a lot of fortitude and desire. I think he's going to have some plays that haven't been scouted this year. I think we're going to see some grind-out football and probably a little razzle-dazzle, Denny.
Well, it's like Lou said, you have a real good little team playing a real good big team, and many people have acclaimed the Scarlet Dragons this year as the best Central team ever, and Jack, do you think that we'll see Ralph Miller running to the right or left and throwing the ball tonight?
Well, Denny, I look for it, and whether he gets protection, I think, is going to decide the final outcome. He and also the Albin, they'll probably get a big rush tonight, and I don't know. I'm hoping that the Northern Bedford offensive line can do the job.
Well, there's one thing about it, as Denny Conlon well knows, Jack, the Central defense is simply predicated primarily on penetration on the part of our tackles, and Central has two of them, Lee Erdy and Mark Steele, and this gets back to what I said. We haven't had a quarterback successful yet this year that's been able to stay in the pocket and throw. When they rolled out, they did much better. We can look for anything, Denny. What do you think?
Well, that's right. Central plays a 6-3-2 defense, and when you only have two back, you have to get the rush. If the quarterback has time to throw with only a 2 deep secondary, he'll find somebody in the open. This is where Rossi hurt Central. I think Holliesburg, with any other quarterback, he had good quarterback, wouldn't have done what Rossi did. Rossi was able to scramble when we got to the outside and put a lot of pressure on those two boys, and consequently they got beat. This is where Central is weak. They're weak in the secondary. Central relies on the quick tackles to get in to penetrate, so the quarterback doesn't have time. And if they get in tonight, it's going to be tough for them to score and move the ball.
Okay, now Lou Yurt, the Northern Bedford team has some real good quick backs, and led, first of all, by your Big 33 nominee, Jesse Riekert, who has, I think, over 12 touchdowns so far this year, most of them through the air, and they're quick, they're fast, they're small. We call it the mini backfield. Lou, do you think we'll have some scrambling passing tonight?
Well, Denny, we're going to have to, as you and Denny Conlon said, Jim Williams, we're going to have to put the pressure on them there in the flats. But I think if Northern's going to win this game, Denny, their line is going to have to outplay Central's defensive line.
Well, it should be a good game, Lou, and I think Central has a definite weight advantage, but then again, Northern Bedford, on the other hand, has the quickness, too. And let's take a break right now for a fast word from Merle Ebersole.
Dog and Suds Drive-In Restaurant, Route 36, Roaring Spring, is a booster of the Central High Scarlet Dragons. This friendly reminder, after the game, stop at Dog and Suds and try a tasty Coney dog with French fries and a creamy root beer. You'll light up with joy. Or try delicious crisp chicken or shrimp. Bring the kids along. Enjoy wholesome food at Dog and Suds Drive-In Restaurant of Roaring Spring. Another fine community-minded business. So after the game or any time for a quick snack, stop at Dog and Suds.
Okay, thank you, Merle Ebersole, and the Central Scarlet Dragon Band is now coming on the field, and they can get through the crowd down there, Lou, and Jim Williams. We're just roughly guesstimating. We talked to Principal Max Baker, and I would say we have a crowd here somewhere in the vicinity of about 6,000 people or better, and I would imagine that this is probably the largest crowd to ever witness a football game from the Roaring Spring Athletic Field, Jim Williams.
I go along with that, Denny. I remember last year, Central was 10-0, and I think it was their second ball game with Hollidaysburg here, and they really had them packed in. But I'm sure it's not near the crowd that's here tonight. I would say that this is the biggest crowd we've ever had. In the end zone, they're 2 and 3 deep. Some are on the hunters, some are standing on top of other people. I hope there ain't any fights out there, Denny.
Oh, no, we're not even going to talk like that, Jim. We got good sportsmanship on both sides, no problem at all. Lou Yurt, talking about the crowd, this is a big tribute to the Northern Bedford Black Panthers, too, with a tremendous following here tonight. We've got a tremendous crowd, and they brought a lot of them.
Right, Denny. Northern Bedford always follows well during football season. I was just thinking, this is probably a big thrill for these boys playing in front of. This is probably the biggest crowd that most of them have played in front of.
Well, they've earned every bit of it because they got one tremendous team, and we look for one tremendous football game out here tonight. Okay, Lou and Jack, and I just noticed we have a special guest here in the press box tonight, Mr. C. Elvin Weidenhammer, who for many years was the principal at Roaring Spring, and then later Central prior to his retirement several years ago. Mr. Weidenhammer, it's a real pleasure to have you here for the big one tonight.
Thank you, Denny. I'm glad to be here. It's a good game.
I'm sure you're going to, and we'll probably talk again to you at halftime. Mr. Weidenhammer, Jim Williams said he wants you to verify to the public that he and I were both honor students at Old Roaring Spring High.
That's absolutely right.
And we were the best football players.
Well, almost the best.
You know what Jim said last week at Bellwood? He said that with some money we couldn't distinguish the numbers on the uniform, and Jim said that, you know, when he played football, he said you could always tell him he was a kid in a clean uniform.
I don't remember that, Danny, but it might be.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Weidenhammer. The cheer you hear going up, ladies and gentlemen, is for the Central
high marching band under the direction of Jack Shaver. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. No other soul when I certainly hear a patriotic song like that, I can't help but think that tomorrow is the day of prayer as proclaimed by Mayor Richard Butler for the prisoners of war in Vietnam.
Yes, Denny, I read the mayor's proclamation, and I'm very much in sympathy with it. I know that the fellows in Vietnam have paid a tremendous price, and it's for our benefit, and I think that we should stand back with them 100%.
Okay, Merle, and now to public address announcer, term call for the starting lineup for tonight's game.
The starting lineup for the Black Panthers of Northern Bedford County High School. At left end, number 88, Gary Lundquist. At left tackle, number 76, Roger Coral. Left guard, number 63, Leon Peppel. Center, number 51, Joe Clark. Right guard, number 66, George Erb. Right tackle, number 72, Ed Baker. Right end, number 84, Robert Kagerite. Quarterback, number 14, Steve Albin. Halfback, number 12, Ralph Miller. Halfback, number 25, Big 33 nominee, Jesse Rickard. Halfback, number 23, Ken Dotson. Fullback, number 44, Brad Gable. Northern Bedford County has a record of 8 wins and no losses. Head coach John Yacino. The starting lineups for the Scarlet Dragons of Central High School. At left end, number 36, Tri-Captain Nevin Gokenauer. Left tackle, number 55, Glenn Mitchell. Left guard, number 73, Orville Sheehan. Center, number 56, Bob Kaufman. Right guard, number 67, Bob Leedy. Right tackle, number 60, Brian Gates. Right end, number 86, Tri-Captain Greg Imes. Quarterback, number 15, Tri-Captain, Big 33 nominee, Dave Breidenbaugh. Halfback, number 30, Bob Wareham. Halfback, number 11, Mike Moss. Fullback, number 20, George Oldham. The Scarlet Dragons have a record of 6 wins, 1 tie, and 1 loss. Head coach, Harry Clark.
Thank you, Sherm Croft, and the captains are gathered out in the field, and Central has won the toss and elected to receive. And while they're getting ready, Merle, do you have a commercial ready for us?
Okay, Denny, will do. The average person doesn't have the slightest idea what ingredients go into his prescription. Because his trusted doctor gives it to him, he takes it with confidence. Well, at Varner's Pharmacy of Roaring Spring, you can have the same confidence. When you take a prescription to Varner's, you know it will be filled precisely. You never get substitutes and never inferior ingredients. Next time you have a prescription to be filled, take it to Varner's Pharmacy of Roaring Spring.
Thank you, Merle Ebersole, and the Panthers are now back on the field. The Scarlet Dragon team is huddled down in front of the bench, and Lee Yard and Jim Williams, I'm glad to see that Chief Assistant Coach Joe Connon is down with the team tonight. He has been very sick the last couple of days, and as you guys know, but for our listening audience, they call me the voice of the Dragons and the Panthers, and the voice is about gone before the game starts, but we've got plenty of help standing by in Lou and Jack and Denny and Jim, so I might need you, Lou.
Okay, Denny, we'll hang in there.
And Jim, you might have to do some play-by-play if I wear out.
I hope not.
Oh, I hope not, Jim. You carry out your assignment well, though. The excitement is mounting here. Both teams now are on the field, and the Dragons have won the toss. They elected to receive. Northern Bedford will be kicking from our right to our left, and everybody in this stand, I would say, is pushing 7,000 now on the feet. Darwin Imler kicking off. There goes the kick. It's a very short kick going downfield. He's fielded on about the 40-yard line, and he gets back to about the 44-yard line, and he's rocked up there by a whole host of Black Panthers. Greg Imes, the senior track captain and end, took the kickoff, returned to his own 44, and the Scarlet Dragons will put it in play there. First and 10 on their own 44. Okay, Dave Breidenbaugh, the senior track captain, quarterback, and Big 33 nominee, brings him out of the huddle. He hands off to the right side to Mike Mock, and Mike Mock's across the 45, up close to midfield. Let's make it to about the 49-yard line, and Jesse Riegert and Joe Clark come up to make the stop. A pickup of about 5 yards on the play, and it's going to bring up a 2nd down and 5 now for the Dragons. And you can hear the crowd chanting. The game just started. It's a 2nd down and call it 4 for the Dragons. Breidenbaugh, the quarterback, hands off left side. Mike Mock, he gets a block. He's down across the 40, down inside the 45-yard line. Let's call it about the 42-yard line, and it's going to be a 1st and 10 for the Dragons. Kenny Dotson up from his safety position to make the stop over there, and the Dragons are moving the ball here on the first series of downs. It's 1st and 10 on the Black Panther 42. Breidenbaugh brings him out. Breidenbaugh hands off. George Oldham, right side of the line. He gets inside the 40 and down to about the 36-yard line. And Lou Yurt, this is about what we talked about. The game plan for Central is to drive it right at him, and they're doing it.
Right, Denny, they're running straight at him. We're going to have to make some adjustments here. Maybe we might have to get down. I don't know.
That was a pickup about 6 by George Oldham. It moves the ball to the 36-yard line, and it brings up a 2nd down and 4 now for the Dragons, and they're moving. All right, Breidenbaugh brings him out of the huddle. He hands off to the right side. Mike Mock across the 35-yard line, down maybe to the 33-yard line. And Jim, they're running right and left tackle and making yardage.
They certainly are, Denny. This last play, Northern Bedford closed the hole up pretty quickly, but the previous plays, it took Northern Bedford secondary to make the tackle.
All right, Mike Mock picked up about Pepple and Eichelberger made the stop. Mike picked up about 3 yards on the play, and it moves the ball to the, let's call it the 32-yard line, and we got a 3rd and 1 situation now for the Dragons. All right, Breidenbaugh sets Nevin Gokenhauer as a flanker to the far right this time. Breidenbaugh hands off up the middle. He dives. He's got the 1st down. Mike Mock, the junior halfback, came up and hit the line and dove over it and moved the ball right to the 30-yard line, and it's a 1st and 10 for the Scarlet Dragons. Okay, Breidenbaugh brings him out. Breidenbaugh hands off right side this time. Mike Mock He drives down to about, no, that was Bobby Wareham, the ball carrier, and he's down to about the 25 or 26-yard line. Joe Clark, the sensational linebacker for Northern Bedford, makes the stop, so it's a pickup of about 4 yards, and it's going to bring up a second down and 6, the ball resting right on the 25-yard line. Bryden Ball has Greg Irons split to the right. George Oldham up the middle, and he gets a block, and he's down close to the first down. Oldham goes across the 25-yard line, and he picks up the first down. George Oldham on a power play, Lou.
Baker and Richard in on a stop.
And George just powered that ball right through there, Lou Yard.
Yes, he did, Denny. They're eating that yardage up, 4 and 5 at a clip.
And they've got the ball on about the 17-yard line, and it's the 1st and 10, and we got 8:31 left here in the first quarter. All right, Bryden Ball brings him out with a wing tee to the left this time. Hand off Mike Mock to the left side of the line. He's tripped at about the 15-yard line, but he falls across at number 82, Lou. Calvin Douglas tips him up, and but he's still got a pickup of 4 yards, and it's going to bring up a second down and 6. The ball resting inside the 15. Let's call it the 14-yard line. 8:07 left here in the first quarter. No score in the ball game. Okay, Bryden Ball brings him out now. Bryden Ball hands off Mike Mock, and he's racked up just about the line of the scrimmage this time. Leon Pepple and Joe Clark meet him there. He moves the ball, though, to the 11-yard line. Moves it down to the 11-yard line, and it's going to bring up a third down and 4. And the Dragons are threatening early here in the ball game. They've started at their own 44-yard line, and they moved right down almost to the 10, the 11-yard line, and they've got a third down and 4. And Dave Bryden Ball, the Big 33 nominee, brings him out. He hands off right side Mike Mock, and he's hit right at the line of scrimmage. Kenny Teeter and Rick Eichelberger stop him. Let's call it a pickup of 1 yard. It's going to bring up a 4th and 3, and they've got the ball on the 10-yard line. And Central calls a timeout, and with a timeout on the field, here's Merrill Eversole.
There's a chill in the air, and that means winter is just around the corner. To Feather Petroleum, it means time to stock up on fill heat, so that when you need warmth and comfort, you'll not be disappointed. Feather Petroleum is the finest heating oil in the area. Why wait until the tank runs dry and the burner conks out? Call Feather Petroleum, 793-2139. Automatic delivery, 24-hour burner service. Feather service will tickle you.
Thank you, Merrill Eversole. And Lou Yard, we've got you got my cord tied up here. You got a 4th down and 3 now for the Dragons. They moved the ball just a little over, just about 50 yards right down the field. And on the last 2 downs, as you just mentioned, the Black Panthers have tightened up. The big question now is whether they can stop this drive, Lou.
Right, they're probably going to come with Oldham up through there, Denny.
He's been grabbing off chunks of it. Jim has got a 4th and 3. The ball on the 10-yard line. They was moving it good.
Now this is where they got to grind it out, Denny. It's tough here. Coach Clark was talking to Bryden Ball. They haven't tried it yet. I feel what they should do. I think they're going to run around end, Dennis.
I think they'll drive it right up the middle. Okay, Bryden Ball brings him out. He sets Bobby Wareham as a flanker to the right. He sets Greg Irons to the left, and Oldham's got the ball, and he's inside the 10-yard line, and I don't believe he made it. I do not believe he made it. Let's wait and see. He did not make it. Eddie Baker for Northern Bedford stops him on about the 9-yard line, and the Black Panthers hold and take over. 1st and 10 on their own 9-yard line, and they did get tough. Okay, the Panthers have the ball now deep in their own territory at about the 9-yard line. Stevie Elvin, the quarterback, the sophomore sensation, sets a flanker to the far right. Looks over the defense. He calls the signal. Steve Elvin hands off up the middle. Ralph Miller, and he's across the 10-yard line. Maybe picked up 2 or 3 yards on the play. Ron Ritchie and Lee Erdy make the stop in there, but it's a pickup of 2, and it brings up a second down and 8. The ball resting on the 11-yard line. All right, Black Panthers break the huddle now. Steve Elvin, the quarterback, sends a man in motion to the left this time. Elvin hands off through the right side. Flags being thrown on the play. Pick up maybe a 2 yards on the play, but there was flags thrown. I think we might have a procedure, Lou Yard.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to have here.
All right, let's wait and see what the official calls it. Ralph Miller was the ball carrier, and Brian Gates met him, and let's see, they're talking to both captains here. There was flags thrown in the backfield. I thought it was procedure against the Panthers. Right, now they're talking to the Central captain. It's a procedure penalty against the Panthers. It moves the ball back to the 6-yard line. We got a second down and 13 now. 6:06 left here in the first quarter. Okay, Elvin brings him out. Elvin throws a pass, complete out in the right flat, but he's dumped right away. A good play over there by, I think that's Greg Irons. Steve Elvin faked the handoff and threw a flat pass to Brad Gable, and he caught it, and he had a blocker in front of him, but Greg Irons, the end for Central, diagnosed it beautifully and dumped him, and there's another flag on the play, and now they're talking to
the Black Panthers, so apparently the penalty is against the Dragons. So the call was against Central this time for offsides, and that moves the ball back to the 11-yard line, and now we're back where we started. We've got a 2nd down and 8. Now Steve Elvin brings him out and sets a flanker to the left this time. Sets 2 flankers to the left. Calls the signals. All right, Elvin pitches back. That's Brad Gable carrying around the left side, and he gets maybe 2-3 yards on the play. Okay, Rome Collin, Nevin Gokenauer up there to make the stop. Brad Gable, the ball carrier, he moved it up to about the, let's call it the 14-yard line and bring up a 3rd down and 6 now. Clock shows 5:13, no score in the ball game. All right, Steve Elvin brings him out. He's got a split formation, pretty well spread out over the field, both sides. Elvin hands off through the middle and bang. He's got the 15 and maybe that's it. Brad Gable, the ball carrier, and he was dumped in there by Ronnie Ritchie. He moved the ball up to, let's call it the 16-yard line, and we got a 4th and 3, and let's see if the rush is on. Okay, back deep here is Steve Hoover and Ricky Youngst. Darlin Emmer goes back in punt formation, standing on about his own 4-yard line, and Central would like to block this kick. Okay, the snap from center. The rush is on. He gets the kick away, and it's a good booming kick coming down. Steve Hoover fields it on about the 45, hands off to Ricky Youngst on a reverse. Ricky breaks the tackle, gets up to about midfield. He gets a block, and he's down to about the 45 and hit and pushed back there. He moved the ball to the 40-yard line. Rick Eichelberger brings him down, so the Dragons have ball control here. Again, they start on the Black Panther 40-yard line. It's a 1st and 10. Clock running with 4:05 left here in the first quarter of the ball game. All right, Breidenball brings him out and sets 2 men to the left. He hands off on a counter back to the right side. That's George Older, Bobby Wareham, and he drives it across the 35 to about the 34, and Ralph Miller makes the stop, but it's a pickup of about a 7-yard pickup. Move the ball on the, call it the 33-yard line, and it's 2nd down and 3 now for the Scarlet Dragons. And they're running, like we said, Jim, right at right and left tackle.
Right at him, Denny.
Okay, and Breidenball brings him out. He's got Greg Ives set to the right this time. Breidenball hands off through the middle on a power play to Mike Mock, and Mike takes it inside the 30-yard line, and I believe he's got the 1st down. He does. It's a 1st and 10 for Central. Move the ball to about the 28-yard line. George Earp makes the stop for the Black Panthers, but Central seems to be able to move the ball against this stand-up defense so far. The clock is running with 3:12 left here in the first quarter. No score in the ball game. This is a big game. This decides the conference championship for both teams. Central has the ball on the Northern Bedford 28-yard line. Breidenball sets a flanker to the far left. He counters back to George Oldham. Oldham's hit right at the line, but he falls forward for a couple-yard pickup on the play. Joe Clark had him tapped behind the line, but George, with a second effort, drove it down to about the 26-yard line, and George Earp came up to help Joe Clark bring him down, so we've got a 2nd down and 7 now. The ball resting on about the 26-yard line. Okay, Breidenball brings him out. Now it takes a lot of time. Breidenball hands off Mike Mock. He gets across the 25-yard line down to about the 24. Again, Rick Eichelberger makes the stop. Mike picked up about 3 yards on the play, moved the ball to the, let's call it the 23-yard line, and bring up a 3rd and 4, and the clock shows 2:03 left here in the first quarter. No score in the ball game. All right, Dave Breidenball brings him out, and he sets Nevin Gokenauer as a flanker to the right. He hands back to Bobby Wareham. He's tapped up right at the 20-yard line. Leon Teppel, and see Joe Clark getting up there. Makes the stop on the 20, and it's going to be short. We're going to have about a 4th and 2. This is the same situation, Jim, that we had earlier.
Same situation, Denny. We had the same situation in Bellwood. They put Rome Connell in. You know, Rome broke a couple of tackles and went for a touchdown, Denny.
Okay, Lou, you're it. Now the Panthers held the last time. Can they do it this time on the big 4th and 2?
No, Denny, they're going to have to. They're going to have to dig in here.
Okay, and Jim Williams, Rome Connell is in the game now. Okay, Dave Breidenball, the quarterback, brings him out. Breidenball, he hands off. Rome Collin, he's met right at the line on a beautiful tackle. A beautiful tackle. Joe Clark, the sensational linebacker, hit Rome right at the line of scrimmage and dumped him in the Black Panthers' hold and take over on about their own 20-yard line, 1st and 10. Good defensive play, Jim Williams.
That was very beautiful, Denny. He pinpointed. I think he had Rome Collin in his sights, and when he came through, he really blasted him.
Well, this Joe Clark is the one we've been talking about that certainly deserves a big 33, Lou.
Right, Denny. He's a real fine defensive ball player.
Okay, Steve Elvin brings him out now on the 1st and 10 and sends a man, a flanker, to the far right. Calls the signals, hands off to the right side. He's met right at the line of scrimmage and dumped Brad Gable, the ball carrier.
Ron Ritchie hit him right at the line of scrimmage, and with some help there from Lee Yurdy, and it's a pickup of one, maybe call it 1 yard pickup, bring up a second down and 9. The clock shows 29 seconds. It's a second down and 9 for the Black Panthers. Again, they set a split end far to the right. Pitch back to the right side, Brad Gable, and he gets maybe the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. He might even lost a yard or so on the play. Let's call it a pickup of maybe a half a yard, or call it 1 yard. Give him a 1 yard gain. Lee Yurdy and Greg Irons make a stop, so we've got a 3rd and 8. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the first quarter. And the score here from the Roaring Spring Athletic Field is Central Scarlet Dragons 0, Northern Bedford Black Panthers 0. And here's a word from Merle Eversole.
Fall is the time for all ages to take strolls through their favorite mountains and woodlands. If you've ever had the desire to own a place of your own and some secluded spot away from the humdrum of city life, the Kenneth C. Stover Insurance and Real Estate Office of Roaring Spring now has available seasonal dwellings, and heading that list are a few choice hunting camps. If you're in the market to buy, or if you want to sell real estate, farm, business, or home, make it a point to see Kenneth C. Stover, 817 New Street, Roaring Spring.
Thank you, Merle Eversole, and I know with all the excitement in the air here that you get real excited too, Merle.
Oh, yeah, Danny, I don't get worked up like you do, but I enjoy the game, and I do get carried along with the excitement.
Okay, it's 3rd and 8, and Sel Elvin brings him out. Elvin fades the pass, he throws, he's got a man. Rob Miller catches the pass, he brings it up across the 40-yard line. Dave Breidenball drives him out of bounds, and there was the old fake handoff, blue yards. He dumped it, a beautiful pass to Rob Miller, and he's got to pick up to about the 42-yard line, and it's 1st and 10 for the Panthers.
Right, Danny, they ran a play there, pass action. He fakes in there on the run and then pulls it back out and throws in the flat.
This is what we were talking about while Merle were reading the commercial, Lou, that the Panthers are probably going to keep them honest and run a few running plays and then dump that pass out in the flat or something like that, and maybe attempt a long one after a while, the halfback pass to Jesse Riekert, and they're quick, they're fast, and they move well, and their defense certainly dug in when they had to.
Right, Dan, this is what they're going to have to do. They can't run against this Central team. They're going to have to run, keep them honest, throw that pass once in a while, so they can't load up on them in there.
Okay, Jim Williams, this is about what we expected. We're starting here at the second quarter, and there's no score in the ball game, and the Panthers have dug in twice and held. Did that surprise you?
Frankly, yes, Danny. I thought Central would move the ball on them a lot better than they did. It surprised me in one way, and another way it doesn't, because we've announced 3 or 4 of the Northern Bedford games, and
I've done them all.
They're a very quick team. You can't take that away from them. This pass that Elbin threw, the boy was running his pass pattern while the ball was in the air, and when he turned to look for the ball, it was right in his arms.
And they've got it now 1st and 10 on about the 43-yard line, and Steve Elvin brings them out, and he pitches back to Brad Gable. Brad Gable gets the block. He comes across the 45-yard line. That's a loose ball. Central picks up the fumble, and he's going to go. No, he finally dropped over there. Let's see who got that fumble. Mark Steele, the senior sensational tackle. The ball was jarred loose from Brad Gable. Mark Steele picked it up for Central. He carried down to the 30-yard line. A big break for the Dragons. Gary Lundquist brought him down, and again Central has ball control possession here on the Black Panther 30-yard line. Jim Williams, this Mark Steele has made a big difference.
He certainly has, Danny.
He's doing a good job.
Okay, now Dave Breidenball sets a flanker to the left and the right. He hands off to the left side. Bobby Wareham, he's got a hole, and he's down for a good yard. He's down close to the 20-yard line. It's a pickup of about 8 yards. Move the ball to the 22-yard line. Joe Clark and Rick Eichelberger make the stop, and the Dragons are moving now. They've got a 2nd down and 2 to go on the 22-yard line of Northern Bedford. All right, he brings them out, sets a flanker to the far right, hands off to Mike Mock up the middle, and he's got inside the 20. He's got the 1st down close to the 15 or 16-yard line. Calvin Douglas makes the stop in there for Northern Bedford, and it's 1st and 10 for Central. The ball resting at just about the 16-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Dragons. All right, the clock shows 10:16 left here in the first half of the ball game. No score. All right, Mike Wareham, a flanker to the far left. Greg Irons to the right. Handoff, George Oldham up the middle. He drives hard in there for 3-4 yards, and he's finally fouled up by the entire middle of the Black Panther line. Make it a 3-yard pickup and mark the ball on the 13-yard line now for Central. It's on the Northern Bedford 13. It's a 2nd down and 7. The clock shows 9:38.
Dave Breidenball brings him out, and he sets Bobby Wareham as a flanker to the far right. Breidenball throws a pass, complete. It looks like he might go. That's Greg Irons. Did he get in? Touchdown. It's touchdown, Scarlet Dragons. Breidenball faked the handoff and dumped the pass out across the right side to Greg Irons, the senior end and try captain, and he went in for the touchdown, and the Scarlet Dragons squad front here by a score of 6-0. Okay, Ron Holsinger will attempt the conversion. Ricky Ox will hold. The ball is placed down. The kick is up, and it's good, and you can hear the crowd cheer. Central goes out in front by a score of 7-0 with a timeout on the field. Here's Merrill.
Dog and Suds Drive-In Restaurant, Route 36, Roaring Spring, has the finest food in town. Stop for a moment. Picture a crisp golden chicken topped off with fries, coleslaw, and a beverage. Sound good? Well, it is good. Stop real soon for the wholesomest food in town. It's Dog and Suds, where there's no need to get out of your car. You get fast, friendly service and the best food in town. It's the home of Rover, the Coney dog, and the world's premium root beer. Dog and Suds, Route 36, Roaring Spring.
Okay, Lou Yurt, the fumble there on the part of Northern Bedford might even been the turning point of the ball game because they stopped 2 drives before then.
Right, Denny. Northern had a good drive going there. They just had a nice pass play to Ralph Miller, and then they had blocking out in front of Brad Gable, but somehow the ball got away from him over there, Ben.
Okay, Ron Holsinger kicking off, and a beautiful kick, the best one he's kicked this year. Taken by Riekert on about the 5-yard line. He's got the 10, the 15, the 20. He gets the block. He's up to the 30-yard line, and he's hit and dumped there. Mark Steele dumps him, and the Panthers put it in play. 1st and 10 on their own 31. They set clean into the right this time. Steve Alvin, the quarterback, hands off, and he's dumped in his backfield. It's a fumble. Central ball. Central's got the ball. Jim Williams, another big break for the Dragons.
They're hitting very hard, Denny. They're hitting as ball's being handed off by the quarterback, and they can't hold on to it.
This is where they started the last time, Lou Yurt on the 30-yard line, and they took it in. Another break for Central, and it was good hard hitting.
Right, Denny. Central's hitting real hard here. It sure helps when you get these breaks in these ball games.
Well, it can change the complexion of a game in a real hurry. So the Dragons, again, they've had field position all night here, and they've got the ball now on a break again. It's 1st and 10 on the 30-yard line of Northern Bedford. Breidenball, the quarterback. Breidenball looking to pass. Throws across the middle, complete down to about the 20-yard line. Nevin Gokenhauer, the receiver, hit and brought down by Jesse Riekert and Calvin Douglas. Let's call it the 21-yard line, and it's a pickup of 9 yards. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and 1. And the Dragons come out this time. They set Bobby Wareham as a flanker to the far right. They split Nevin Gokenhauer to the left. They hand off to Mike Mock to the right side. He's inside the 20-yard line, and that should be enough for the 1st down. It is. It's a 1st and 10 for Central. George Earp and Leon Temple make the stop in there, move the ball to about the 18-yard line, and it's 1st and 10 for the Dragons. And Jerome Conlon goes into the game. Bobby Wareham out, and Lou Yurt, maybe Central, when they were stopped the first 2 times, decided to take to the air. It worked the last 2.
Yeah, then they have been going to the air more than the first quarter.
Okay, Breidenball brings him out this time, sends George Oldham in motion, hands off to Mike Mock to the right side. He's got the 15 down inside the 15-yard line. Roger Coro and Joe Clark make the stop. They move the ball down to about the 12-yard line. Mike Mock, the ball carrier. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and 4. The Scarlet Dragons leading here by a score of 7-0 with 7:07 left here in the 1st half. All right, Dave Breidenball brings him out, and he sets a flanker to the left and a flanker to the right, and there's a whistle being blown on the play. It's a handoff, but the ball is stopped on a whistle. The ball stopped on the whistle, and let's see what, it might be too much time. Its penalty is against the Dragons. It's going to be 5 yards for illegal procedure, and that moves it back to about the 16, 17-yard line, and it brings up a 2nd down and 5. All right, Breidenball, same formation. Fades the pass. Got a man. He throws. He hits his man out there, and he did not get into the end zone. Let's see. The Greg Irons caught the pass, and he's down there. Let's see where they mark the ball. The ball on the inside the 5-yard line. Ralph Miller made the save out there for Northern Bedford, and the Scarlet Dragons have it right now. 1st and goal to go on the 5-yard line. They're leading here 7-0. All right, Breidenball brings him out with a wing 2 to the right. Breidenball hands off Bobby Wareham to the right side of the line, and he's got a couple yards. Let's see where they spot it. He moves it to the 2-yard line. Eddie Baker and Rick Eichelberger make the stop, and they've got 2 yards away from touchdown now. It's 2nd down and 2 for the Dragons. All right, Breidenball calls the signals. Hand off to the right side of the line. Touchdown, Scarlet Dragons. Bobby Wareham, the senior halfback, goes off his own right tackle and goes in standing up for the Scarlet Dragons, and they go out in front here by a score of 13-0 with 5:43 left in the half. Ron Holsinger will attempt the conversion now. Ricky Younts will hold. All right, the Dragons come out and line up to attempt the extra point. The snap from center. The ball's placed down. The kick is up, and it's good. And Central goes out in front here by a score of 14-0 with 5:43 left in the first half. And here's Merrill Eversole.
It used to be that all drugstores sold were drugs, period, but times have changed, and nowadays it's almost impossible to enumerate the many products available and the services offered by Varner's Pharmacy of Roaring Spring. However, Varner's Pharmacy knows that your health still comes first, and so their most important service is the compounding and dispensing of accurate prescriptions. Then, too, when you want good photo service, something for the home medicine cabinet, some cosmetics, a greeting card, the name to remember is Varner's Pharmacy of Roaring Spring.
Thank you, Merrill Eversole. Okay, Ron Holsinger will kick off. Jesse Rieger's back deep. Ralph Miller and Kenny Dawson just ahead of him. Another good kick taken down there by Jesse Rieger on about the 20-yard line, the 25. Kenny Dawson, the 30. He's hit and dumped. Moves the ball to about the 30-yard line. Barry Shambaugh made the stop, and the Panthers put it in play there, 1st and 10. All right, Steve Elvin sends a flanker to the left. Elvin hands off to Ralph Miller. He's trying the left side. He gets a block. He's across the 35, the 40, the 43-yard line, and hit driven out of bounds over there. Rome Collins. Check that, make that Kent Croft, the safety man who drove him out of bounds, moved the ball to the, let's call it the 44-yard line, and it's a 14-yard pickup for Ralph Miller, and it's a 1st and 10 for the Panthers, and now they're moving. Clock shows 5:09 left here in the first half. All right, Panthers break the huddle. Steve Elvin hands off Jesse Rieger, and he gets a block and gets up across the 45 to about the, let's call it the 48-yard line. Call it the 47-yard line. Brian Gates and Kent Croft make the stop, and there's going to pick up about 4 yards, brings up a 2nd down and 6 now. 4:44 left here in the first half. Central leading by a score of 14-0. All right, Steve Elvin, the sophomore quarterback, brings him out, sets 2 men to the right, calls the signals. Elvin hands off up the middle. His crosses midfield, and that's about it. Brad Gable moves it right to midfield. Big Jeremy Walters met him right there, and it's a pickup of 2, and it's a big 3rd down and 4 now, Lou Yurt.
Right, Denny, we're going to have to convert this 1st down here.
Okay, Steve Elvin brings him out. He sets 3 men to the right this time. Okay, Elvin calls the signal. A direct snap. Ralph Miller. He's got a block. He comes across the 50, down to the 45, and I believe he's got the 1st down. He does. He's got the 1st down. He moves the ball inside the 45-yard line, or the 45-yard line, and Brian Gates drops him there, and it's 1st and 10 for the Black Panthers. A direct snap, Lou Yurt says. It sure was. I lost it, and the Panthers are on the move with 3:43. They've got the ball on the 44-yard line of Central. Okay, again, shotgun formation. Miller in the slot. Miller running to the left this time. He's hit behind the line. No, bang. Big Jeremy Walters took about 2 steps and threw him for about a 4 or 5 yard loss, Jim Williams.
He's been getting in there, Denny, but they've been running away from him. They're running our ends. Our linemen are getting in. This determined young sophomore Ron Ritchie is really getting in there, but on the end run, he can't catch him.
All right, it's a loss of about 4 yards on that play and moves the ball back to the 49-yard line, and it's going to bring up a 2nd down and 14 for the Black Panthers. The clock shows 3:07 left here in the first half. Central out in front by a score of 14-0. Jesse Rieger set as a flanker to the far right this time. T formation. Elvin fades the pass. Yeah, a wobbly pass intended for Rieger, and it goes incomplete. Incomplete. It was a very wobbly pass, and Jesse was trying to cut back across the middle. Orville Sheehan had him covered very well, so this brings up a 3rd and 14 now. Okay, Steve Elvin brings him out in a T formation this time. Calls the signals. Elvin on a reverse, and he's hit behind the line. It's a fumble picked up by Central. Mark Steele, and he's going to go all the way. It's a touchdown, Central. Check me, I believe that's Mark Steele. Forgive me, that was Nevin Gokener. Nevin Gokener picked up the fumble, and he rambled about 45 yards for the touchdown, and that's 3 fumbles Lee Yurt, and that's 3 Central touchdowns.
Denny, I think that's the best play they have in their playbook.
Well, they certainly have worked it well tonight, and they're out in front here by a score of 20-0. There's the try for the kick. It's low, it's off to the side, it's no good, The clock shows 2:45. Dragons are leading 20-0, and with a timeout, here's Merle.
Want to be snug and warm all winter long? Of course you do. Here's the recipe. Call Feather Petroleum 793-2139 for Phil Heat. That great Phillips 66 heating oil. Phil Heat in the Cove area is backed by all Feather Petroleum's dependable conveniences. Automatic delivery that gives you a never-ending fuel supply. Radio-controlled truck. 24-hour burner service and a budget system discount plan. Come on, be tickled pink and warm. Call Feather Petroleum Martinsburg. Remember that Feather service will tickle you.
Thank you, Merle Eversole. And these fumbles have definitely hurt here in the first half by the Black Panthers. Central's got 20 big ones up there. Ron Holsinger is kicking off. A real good deep kick going down Jesse Riekert on about the 10-yard line. The 15, the 20, the 25. He cuts outside. He gets up to about the 30. Moves close to the 40-yard line. Jesse Riekert following his block and moves it back. Let's see where they mark it. About the 39-yard line. Rome Collin makes the stop. Let's call it the 40-yard line, right on the 40, and Northern Bedford will put it in play there, 1st and 10. Okay, the Panthers must move now to stay in the ball game. They're down by 20 points. Steve Elvin brings them out. Elvin pitches back. Brad Gable around the left side. He gets up, drives hard to about the 44, 45-yard line. He's met there by Brian Gates. Let's see who else gets up there. Can't spot his number. Help from the right side of the line over there, so it's a pickup of 4. Mark Steele was in there to help him, and it's a pickup of 4 yards. It brings up a 2nd down and 6. Riekert comes out as a flanker. We might see the halfback pass now. Okay, flat pass intended for Brad Gable, almost intercepted out here. It's been blown dead. Pass goes incomplete. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 6, and we got a minute 44. The clock stopped here with the incompleted pass, and Lou Yurt, the Panthers have to throw now to get one up there.
Right, Denny, they're in a position now where they have to throw. They're down 20 points.
Okay, Steve Elvin brings them out. That's shotgun formation. That's Ralph Miller in the slot. He's running to the right. He's tapped. He's dumped. There's a flag goes down. The penalty flag is thrown, and it's against Northern Bedford for clipping, but Central declines the penalty, forcing Northern Bedford into punt formation, and they're going to put the rush on. Darlin Imler is back to kick, and back to receive is Ricky Youngston. We're going to have a rush here. It's on. He gets a kick, not a very good kick. Hits on about the 40-yard line, rolling down to about the 34-yard line, and it rolls out of bounds over there, and Central will put it in play, 1st and 10 on their own 34-yard line, and Jim Williams, I can tell you right now that Coach Clark is going to try to put another one up there with a minute 19 left in the half.
He probably will, Denny. They're going to try and get as much on the scoreboard as they can before halftime.
And they just took a timeout to Planton. With a timeout, here's Merle Eversole.
Have you ever wondered where you could find an insurance man who is not only qualified, experienced, and knowledgeable, but who will be around for years to come? It may be nice to buy insurance from a friend or relative, but will he be able to give your insurance the insurance claims, the prompt service that may be needed? Can you count on your insurance man to be on your side whenever a claim arises? There's one man you can always count on. That's Kenneth C. Silver of 817 New Street, Roaring Spring. Ken handles only good insurance. And he's a good man to see if you're buying or selling real estate.
Thank you, Merle Eversole, and the Dragons break the huddle and set Mike Mock as a flanker to the far left. Blind ball fades the pass. He pumps. He throws long, intended for Mike Mock. He's wide open. Mike Mock catches it. He might get away. He slips and falls on about the 25-yard line. Kenny Dawson was covering him, and he had help there from Ralph Miller, and they finally stop it. This was the bomb. I told you to look for it, Lou Yurt, and he went for it. He faked the jump pass across the middle and threw long to Mike Mock, and they've got the ball on the 25.
Real nice pass by Dave Breidenball there, Denny.
He certainly threw a beaut, and Mike caught it on the run, and trying to cut back slipped, but I think they would have got him anyway. So the Dragons have it 1st and 10 on the 25 with a minute 1 left in the first half. They're leading 20-0. Okay, Breidenball brings him out. He's got 2 men set to the right. Again, draw play. The Rome Carlin up the middle. He gets a block. He's down inside the 15-yard line. Rome Carlin carries to the 15-yard line, and he picks up the 1st down. It's 1st and 10 for the Dragons. Okay, the clock shows 46 seconds, and Dave Breidenball brings him out. Breidenball fades the pass again. He throws. Incomplete. The pass was intended for Drake Irons in the end zone across the middle, but Breidenball's arms was dumped. Shotgun. Breidenball throws. Intercepted, no, knocked away. Ralph Miller bounces it away. Incomplete pass, almost intercepted. It was intended for Bobby Wareham, but good coverage by Ralph Miller, and it goes incomplete, and we got a 3rd and 10 now. The clock stopped with 37 seconds. Okay, with a 3rd and 10 now, Bryden Ball sets 2 men to the right. Bryden Ball draw up the middle, and he's dumped right away. Joe Clark, the senior linebacker for Northern Bedford, diagnosed the play and dropped him in there for a 1-yard loss. And with a 4th and 11, Central takes time out. And with a timeout, let's hear from Merle Eversole.
Jorgen Suds Drive-In Restaurant, Route 36, Roaring Spring, is the booster of the Central High Scarlet Dragons. This friendly reminder, after the game, stop at Dog and Suds and try a tasty Coney dog with French fries and a creamy root beer. You'll light up with joy. Or try delicious crisp chicken or shrimp. Bring the kids along and enjoy wholesome food at Dog and Suds Drive-In Restaurant of Roaring Spring, another fine community-minded business. After the game or any time for a quick snack, stop at Dog and Suds.
All right, Bryden Ball brings him out in the shotgun on the 4th down. Bryden Ball fades the pass. He throws long. Incomplete. Northern Bedford holds. Good rush on Bryden Ball that time by George Earp and Kenny Teeter. The pass was intended for Nevin Gokenauer, and he was covered well on the end zone, and it went complete. And the Black Panthers take over now. The ball on their own 15-yard line with 26 seconds left here in the first half. Central leading in the ball game, 20-0. All right, Steve Elvin brings him out, and he sets Jesse Reeker as a flanker to the far right. You better believe he's going to throw it this time. All right, Elvin, no, he hands off on it way up the middle. It's a fumble again, and Central's got it. I believe Mark Steele, number 80, recovered the fumble, and here we go again. Central's got the ball on the 20-yard line, and Lou Yurt, this is the 4th time that they've got the ball inside the 30 on a fumble.
Denny, I just telling Dwayne Geiser over here, we haven't fumbled hardly all year.
All right, Bryden Ball passes, deflected, bounced away, incomplete. Lou, this is true. Maybe they've never been hit as hard as they were tonight.
Well, that might be true, Dan.
Here we go again. Central's the first team to score more than 1 touchdown against them, Lou.
Yeah, that's right, Denny.
Okay, and we've got 11 seconds, and Central's got a 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line, and we're going to have a field goal attempt by Ron Holsinger. A field goal. The kick is down. It's up. Just a little bit to the left. The kick was long enough that it was wide to the left. He had enough height on it, but it was wide to the left. It goes incomplete, and we've got 6 seconds left in the first half, and now Northern Bedford gets the ball again with 6 seconds on their own 20-yard line. Okay, 6 seconds, and Steve Elvin brings them out. Jesse Riegert is set as a flanker, and of course, Elvin just runs it up the middle. And 3, 2, 1. And they quickly take a timeout. There's a penalty on the play. The penalty is against the Dragons. They'll start the clock here with 1 second. I don't know whether they'll get a play off or not. They might have time just to get it off. The clock, that's it. They don't get the play off, and the score at halftime here is Central Scarlet Dragons 20, Northern Bedford Black Panthers 0. And we'll be back to talk about the first half. Both teams leaving the field. Good hand, but a cheer. Good cheer from the crowd. We'll be back to talk about the first half, but first a word from Merle Eversole.
The average person doesn't have the slightest idea what ingredients go into his prescription. Because his trusted doctor gives it to him, he takes it with confidence. Well, at Varner's Pharmacy of Roaring Spring, you can have the same confidence. When you take a prescription to Varner's, you know it will be filled precisely. You never get substitutes, never inferior ingredients. Next time you have a prescription to be filled, take it to Varner's Pharmacy of Roaring Spring.
This is halftime here at the Roaring Spring Athletic Field with the Central Scarlet Dragons leading the Black Panthers of Northern Bedford by a score of 20-0. And ladies and gentlemen, we apologize to the bands. We regret that we're not going to be able to bring you except a little bit that you hear in the background because we're short on tape, and we want to go into the winning team's locker room after the game and tape that if we can, because this is the deciding game in the Inter-County Conference Championship, and you heard both of the bands on our sports show today do their halftime show. Both bands, tremendous band. Scarlet Dragon Marching Band under the direction of Jack Schaefer, the Black Panther Marching Band under the direction of Melvin Van Orman, and the crowds love them both, and they both had beautiful halftime shows. But we briefly want to run down the statistics for the first half and then cut the chatter. In the first down department, the Central Scarlet Dragons have 9 first downs to 2 for Northern Bedford. Central in yards gained rushing has 103. Northern Bedford has only 18. Central has lost 1 yard rushing. Northern Bedford has lost 16. So in net yards rushing, Central is 102. Northern Bedford 2. Yards gained passing, Northern Bedford gained 22, while Central gained 74. Neither team has lost any yardage on passing, so your net yardage on passing is 24 for the Black Panthers, 74 for the Scarlet Dragons, giving a total offense of just 24 yards for Northern Bedford against 177 for the Scarlet Dragons. Northern Bedford has attempted just 3 passes and completed 1, while Dave Breidenball for Central has completed 8, or attempted 8 and completed 4. Neither team has had any passes intercepted, and the big factor in the ball game right now is that in fumbles, Northern Bedford has fumbled 4 times inside their 30-yard line, and they lost all 4 of them. And on 3 of them, Central capitalized and put 3 touchdowns on the board. In the penalties, Northern Bedford has just 1 penalty for 5 yards. Scarlet Dragons has 3 for 25. And in running plays from scrimmage, Central has controlled the ball game with 36 plays from scrimmage, while Northern Bedford has 22. The first pass came, or the first point score of the game came from a Breidenball to Greg Hines pass, 12 yards for a touchdown. Ron Holsinger kicked the extra point and put Central out in front 7-0. This was after Northern Bedford had stopped the 4th down drive and then fumbled the ball, and Central capitalized. The second touchdown came along the same lines. Northern Bedford held on 4th down and then fumbled at about their own 30-yard line, and shortly thereafter they moved the ball to the 2-yard line, and Bobby Wareham took it off right tackle to make it 13-0. Ron Holsinger's conversion was good, and Central was leading 14-0. The third touchdown was on another fumble. Evan Gokenheimer picked it up, and he went all the way, and this made it 20-0. The points fell, and that is the score here at halftime, and the Central Scarlet Dragons have completely dominated the first half of play. The score is Central 20, Northern Bedford nothing. Okay, we're ready to start the second half here now, and the Scarlet Dragons will be kicking off. The Black Panthers will be receiving. Ron Holsinger will kick off here at halftime, and the Central Scarlet Dragons have completely dominated the first half of play. The score is Central 20, Northern Bedford nothing. Okay, we're ready to start the second half here now, and the Scarlet Dragons will be kicking off. The Black Panthers will be receiving. Ron Holsinger will kick off. Back deep is Jesse Bigger, Kenny Dawson, and Ralph Miller. There's the kick going downfield, picked up by Miller on about the 20-yard line. He's running laterally. He gets to 25. He spins away from one man, gets up to about the 28-yard line. He's hit and dropped right there by Mark Steele. Black Panthers will put it in play now. 1st and 10 on their own 28-yard line. They're on the short end of a 20-0 score here tonight. Okay, Steve Elvin, the sophomore quarterback, brings him out. Elvin hands off through the left side. He gets across the 30 up to about the 33-yard line. Ralph Miller, the ball carrier, hit and dropped in there by Lee Yurdy along with Ronnie Ritchie, and he's got a pickup of 3 or 4 yards on the play. They call it a 5-yard pickup. A 5-yard pickup, and it's going to bring up a 2nd down and 5 now. Kenny Dodson comes as a flanker to the far right this time. Steve Elvin sends 2 more men out to the right, calls the signals. Elvin hands back Miller through the left side, and he gets across the 35, maybe 2 yards on the play. Ron Ritchie makes the stop. Make it a pickup of 1 yard and bring up a 3rd and 4, ball resting on about the 36-yard line. Okay, Steve Elvin brings him out. A big 3rd and 4 now. Kenny Dawson far to the right. Elvin fades the pass. Delayed buck. Brad Gable up the middle. He gets maybe the 37-yard line. He did not get the first down. Jeremy Walters and Mark Steele hit him and drop him, and it's very close. They're measuring, and the official signals that it's like maybe 2 inches short. So we got a 4th and 2 inches. The score is 20-0 Central. There's 10:41, and the Panthers are going to go for it. The ball is inside their own 40. Steve Elvin brings them out. They've got to go for it. They're down by 20 points. Elvin on a quarterback sneak. He's got the first down across the 40. The whole middle of the center line makes the stop, but he moves it out to the 41
41-yard line, and it's a 1st and 10 for the Panthers. 10:29 left here in the third quarter. Central leading 20-0. Steve Elvin, the sophomore quarterback, brings him out, and he sets 3 men to the right. Elvin pitches back. Brad Gable, he's hit behind the line. Spins away from 2 men back there. He gets back, still stopped short of the 40. Lee Yurdy and Orville Sheehan finally make the stop on the 38-yard line. It's a loss of 2. 2 Central Dragons had a shot at him behind the line, but deeper, he still had a loss of 2 yards, so we've got a 2nd down now and about 12 for the Panthers. Okay, Elvin brings him out. Elvin hands off. Brad Gable, left side, bang, right at the line of scrimmage. He goes nowhere. Ronnie Ritchie, the sophomore guard, stops him. Maybe he picked up 1 yard. That's about it. Ball resting at just shy of the 40-yard line. They bring him out on the 3rd down play. Steve Elvin throws a pass. Ralph Miller out in the flat. Incomplete. Incomplete. He was wide open. It was in and out of his hands, and he just couldn't hold on to it. It went incomplete, and it brings up a 4th down in a kicking situation now for the Black Panthers. Darwin Emmer is standing back in punt formation, single safety back, and the rush is on. He gets the kick away. Ricky Youngst coming after it. It hits on about the 40-yard line. Picked up by Ricky, and good coverage. He's dumped right away. Max Norris drops him right on the 39-yard line, and the Dragons will put it in play there. 1st and 10 from their own 39. All right, Central takes over. Breidenball brings them out. Full house backfield. Breidenball fakes the hands off to Mike Mock going around the right side. He's being chased by Ralph Miller. He cuts back upfield. He's got maybe 2-3 yards on the play. Make it a 3-yard pickup. Move the ball to the 37-yard line. Eddie Baker made the stop for the Panthers, and it's 2nd down and 7 now for Central. Okay, Breidenball brings him out. He pitches back. Bobby Wareham trying the left side. He gets a block. He turns the corner. He's finally driven out of bounds at just about midfield. Again, Eddie Baker drives him out of bounds just short of midfield, and it's a 1st and 10 for the Dragons, and they're moving. Okay, the ball on their own 49. Breidenball brings him out. He hands off this time, pitches back. Mike Mock around the right side on the option play. Mike Mock gets down across the 45-yard line and down close to the 40. Joe Clark made the stop, and they ruled that he stepped out of bounds on the 44-yard line, so it's a pickup of 6, bring up a 2nd down and 4 now for the Dragons. All right, Breidenball on the 2nd down, hands off through the left side of the line. Mike Mock gets maybe the 42-yard line. He's tripped up. Kenny Dodson and Joe Clark make the stop. It looks like he's going to be about 3 yards short. The ball on about the 42-yard line. We got a 3rd down and 2 now with 7:13. Breidenball sets the flanker to the right and left, hands off to Mike Mock up the right side. He's got the 1st down, down across the 40-yard line. 1st and 10 for Central. Eddie Baker makes the stop, and Central's got it on the Northern Bedford 37 with a 1st and 10. 6:54 left here in the third quarter. Dragons leading by a score of 20-0. All right, Dave Breidenball brings them out of the huddle. Breidenball takes the snap, throws the pass out in the flat, complete out there. He's down across the 25-yard line. Greg Imes, the receiver, moves the ball down to about the 23-yard line, and it's a 1st and 10 for Central. This is the same play that Greg scored his touchdown on back in the 2nd period. All right, Breidenball sets Nevin Gokenauer as a flanker. It's a draw play, and he's down across the 15-yard line. Bobby Wareham, the ball carrier, good call by Dave Breidenball on a draw, and he handed off to Bobby Wareham, and he drove it down inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line. It's about a 9-yard pickup, and it's going to bring up a 2nd down and 1 now for Central. All right, Breidenball brings him out. Breidenball pitches back. Mike Mock around the right side. He gets a block. He cuts upfield, and he's finally dumped right inside the 10. There is a flag on the play. Joe Clark and Eddie Baker make the stop in there, but there is a flag on the play. And they're walking off a big one against the Scarlet Dragons for clipping, and that moves the ball back to the 31-yard line, and they had the 1st down, but now they move it back outside the 30 to about the 31-yard line. A big 15-yarder against the Dragons. Central has a 2nd down and 19 now on the 31. Breidenball sets 2 men to the left. Breidenball, delayed buck. Broom Conlon, he gets a block. He's trying to turn the corner. He gets down inside the 25-yard line. He drives it to the 20-yard line, and Riekert and
Jesse Riegert, Eddie Baker, and Gary Lundquist make the stop, so it's going to bring up a 2nd down and 8. And Lou Yurt, what'd you just say about Baker?
Well, Eddie Baker's been all over the field here in the last 5 minutes.
Okay, Breidenball brings him out and sets Rome Kong as a flanker to the far right. Breidenball throws a pass, across the flat, complete. Let's see who caught that pass. Greg Imes catches the pass, and he's down there very close. It's about a 6-yard pickup, but it's not a first down, so we've got a 4th and 2 now for Central, and a very big play here for Northern Bedford now. The ball inside the 15 at about the 14-yard line. They've been throwing this pass to Greg Imes very successfully. It's 4:36 left in the 3rd quarter, and Dave Breidenball brings him out. Breidenball hands off. Mike Mock to the right side of the line. I don't think he got it. Ralph Miller made the stop, and I believe they're going to call for a measurement. I don't know. We'll wait and see. He did not get it. He did not get the first down. Lou Yurt, that is the 3rd time now in this ball game that the Panthers have held on 4th down inside the 20, and yet every time they start the drive, they fumble, and Central is capitalizing going in.
Right, Denny. I imagine Northern Bedford's pretty frustrated here. Like you say, 3 fumbles, 3 touchdowns.
4 fumbles, 3 touchdowns. Okay, Steve Elvin brings him out. Elvin pitches back. Ralph Miller tries the right side. He's hit and dumped. Lee Yurdy crashes through to dump him back on the 11-yard line, Jim. About the 11-yard line, and it's 2nd down 11 now for Northern Bedford. All right, Steve Elvin brings him out. Elvin counters back to the left this time, and he goes nowhere. Ralph Miller, the ball carrier, hit by Ronnie Ritchie and Jeremy Walters, and he goes nowhere. When maybe a 3-yard pickup, we got a 3rd down and 8 now. All right, Steve Elvin brings him out. Elvin, halfback pass intended for Jesse Riegert, and it's almost intercepted, broken up out here, almost intercepted. Dave Breidenball and Kent Croft, the 2 deep men, break up the play. This was the halfback pass that has worked so well for Northern Bedford this year, but Riegert did not get behind these receivers. They covered him well, and it went incomplete. It brings up a 4th and 8, and I look for the big rush now by Central to block this kick. Darwin Emmer goes back in punt formation, and Ricky Youngst is back as a single safety. Snap from center, he gets the kick away. It's hitting at about midfield. Fielded there by Ricky Youngst. He's got the 45, the 44, 43-yard line, and there's a flag being dropped. The penalty is against Central for clipping, and that's going to move ball back to the 44-yard line of Central on their own 44. 2:50 left here in the 3rd quarter. Central out in front, 20-0. All the points coming so far in the 3rd quarter. 2:43 left here in the 3rd quarter, and Central has the ball 1st and 10 on their own 44-yard line. All right, Breidenball on a direct snap, reverses to George Oldham around the Bobby Wareham. He gets maybe the 47-yard line, and that's about it, and a flag being thrown. The flag is being thrown, and it's a personal foul against Northern Bedford, and that moves the ball down the other way 15 now, down to about the 39-yard line of Northern Bedford, and it's a 1st and 10 for Central. All right, Breidenball brings him out, which sets 3 men to the right. Pitches back to Ricky Youngst, the senior halfback. He's being chased. He turns the corner. He gets down to about the 36-yard line. He's driven out of bounds. Hit first by Leon Peppel. A pickup of 2-3 yards on the play. The pickup of 3, and it brings up a 2nd down and 7 now. 1:46 left here in the 3rd quarter. Breidenball pitches back to the left side. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage and dumped back here. Bobby Wareham, the ball carrier, hit by Kenny Dodson and dumped on about the, call it the 37-yard line. A loss of 1. Bring up a 3rd down and 8 now for the Dragons. All right, Breidenball brings him out. Pitches back to Ricky Youngst. The halfback pass. Ricky throws it incomplete. Intended for Greg Imes. He was well covered, and there was good pursuit on the part of Northern Bedford against Ricky, and this is going to force Central into a punting situation. Yes, Ron Holsinger goes into the game, and they go into punt formation. This will be the first Central punt of the night. Jesse Riegert goes back to receive. Ron Holsinger kicks it short. It's hitting down on about the 25-yard line, inside the 25, and it's rolled dead there. And the Black Panthers will put it in play, 1st and 10. Mark it on the 18-yard line. We had our yard markers mixed up, so it's 1st and 10 for the Panthers now. 34 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Direct snap this time to Ralph Miller. He's running to the left. He gets up across the 20-yard line, and he's dumped over there by Nevin Guggenauer.
with help from Orville Sheehan. It's a pickup of about 3 yards, marking on the 21-yard line. Bring up a 3rd and 7 now for Northern Bedford. 12 seconds left here in the third quarter. Central leading by a score of 20-0. Okay, Steve Elvin brings them out. I don't know whether they'll get the playoff or not. 3, 2, 1. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the third quarter. And the score here from the Roaring Spring Athletic Field is Central Scarlet Dragons 20, Northern Bedford Black Panthers 0. And here's Merle.
There's a chill in the air. It means that winter is just around the corner. To Feather Petroleum, it means time to stock up on fill heat so that when you need warmth and comfort, you'll not be disappointed. Feather Petroleum is well stocked with the finest heating oil in the area. Why wait until the tank runs dry and the burner conks out? Call Feather Petroleum today, 793-2139. Automatic delivery, 24-hour burner service. Feather service will tickle you.
Thank you, Merle Eversole. And Lou Yurt, the Panthers must move now. They're going to have to put it in the air.
Right, Denny. I've been looking for them to put it in the air a little more than they have been here. It's evident they can't run against their Central defense, so they're going to have to throw.
Okay, it's 2nd down and 7 now. Steve Elvin, the quarterback, brings them out. Looks over the defense, calls the signals. Elvin pitches back to Freddie Glasgow, the freshman, and he drives forward in there for 3 or 4 yards. Finally hit and wrapped up by Brian Gates. 3-yard pickup for Freddie Glasgow. It brings up a 3rd and 5 with the ball on about the 24-yard line now. We're in the final quarter of play, 11:30 left, Central leading 20-0. Steve Elvin pitches back, Freddie Glasgow around the left side. He gets a block, he's up across the 30-yard line, and he's got the first down. Brian Gates and Kent Croft make the stop, but it's the 1st and 10 for Northern Bedford, and Jim Williams, this is what Northern did last week. They ran the freshman Freddie Glasgow against Everett.
Well, let's face it, Denny, this is a team. They don't give up. They just won't give up.
Say it, Jim, they got a lot of guts.
They're a bunch of gutsy kids, Denny.
Okay, they're on the short end of a 20-0 to score, but they're playing good ball. Okay, Steve Elvin brings them out now. 11 minutes left in the ball game. Elvin fades the pass. He throws down the middle. It's going to be intercepted. We'll see who got it. He's bringing it back across the 40-yard line, driven out of bounds. Greg Imes intercepts the pass, and he carries it back to the 35-yard line, and Central puts it in play. Here you have it, Lou Yurt. Another mistake, and Central's got field position again.
Right, Denny. Every time we've made it in the air, they seem to be able to capitalize on it tonight.
Well, that's good heads-up football. Okay, Bryden Ball brings him out now on the 1st down. He hands off to George Odom up the middle. He's got a block, and he's down inside the 25-yard line. Kenny Teeter makes the stop, but it's a 1st and 10 for Central. Ball on about the 24-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Dragons. Dave Brydenball brings him out, hands off again to Oldham through the middle, and he's got close to the 20-yard line. Eddie Baker and Kenny Teeter make the stop, and we've got a 2nd down and 8 now. All right, Brydenball, the quarterback. Brydenball hands off, second man, Rome Collin. He's inside the 20-yard line. Let's see where they spot it. Rome Collin for 4 yards, move it to the 18-yard line, tackled by Kenny Teeter. It brings up a 3rd and 4 now for the Dragons. The clock running with 9:25. Central out in front in the ball game by a score of 20-0. All points being scored in the second quarter. All right, big 3rd and 4. Brydenball brings him out, hands off through the right side. Bobby Wareham, he's met at the line of scrimmage, falls forward to about the 15-yard line, but I believe it's going to be just a little bit short of the 1st down. Leon Temple makes the stop. And Rome Collin runs into the game and calls a timeout. And with a timeout on the field, here's a word from Merle Eversole.
Fall is the time for all ages to take strolls through their favorite mountains and woodlands. If you've ever had the desire to own a place of your own in some secluded spot away from the humdrum of city life, the Tennessee Silver Insurance and Real Estate Office of Roaring Spring now has available seasonal dwellings. And heading that list are a few choice hunting camps. If you're in the market to buy, or if you want to sell real estate, farm, business, or home, make it a point to see Tennessee Silver, 817 New Street, Roaring Spring.
Thank you, Merle Eversole and Jim Williams. Here we have it again. We have a 4th down and less than a yard to go, and 3 different times now Northern Bedford has stopped them inside the 20.
Central's still a determined ball club, Denny. I think they want to get some more points up there on the scoreboard. Northern Bedford, as we say, haven't given up. Central, as well as Northern Bedford, having a very quick ball club. Central has shown me some quickness tonight that I don't believe I've seen all year, Denny.
Jim, they've been able to drive the ball at will till the big 4th down, and then it's Northern Bedford is dug in, and we've got another situation like that right now.
All right, Breidenball brings him out now on the big 4th and 1 situation. He calls the signals. He hands off right side. He's got the first down. Mike Mock, the ball carrier, and he carries it down to the 10-yard line, and it's 1st and 10. It's right on the 10-yard line, so we'll call it a 1st and 10 for the Scarlet Dragons. They're leading 20-0 with 8:59 left here in the ball game. All right, Breidenball breaks the huddle, brings his team out now. Sends a man backwards in motion and charges the handoff through the right side of the line, up the middle and across the 5-yard line. Bobby Wareham on a quick opener, and he moves it right to the 5-yard line. Can anybody explain what was that? We sent George Oldham in backward motion that time.
Right, Denny. He just turned around and ran backwards about 8 yards.
Well, that's a new one, but Bobby took the handoff on a quick opener and moved it to the 5-yard line. We got a 2nd and 5 to go for a touchdown now for Central. Breidenball hands off right side again. He's in, touchdown. Mike Mock. Mike Mock goes off right tackle, goes in standing up for a touchdown for Central, and they go out in front here by a score of 26-0 with 8:24 left in the ball game. Ron Holsinger will attempt the conversion. Ricky Younks will hold the snap from center. The ball's placed down. The kick is up, and it's good. And as they come back up the field with 8:24 left in the ball game, Central 27, Northern Bedford 0, and here's Merrill.
Dog and Suds Drive-In Restaurant, Route 36, Roaring Spring, has the finest food in town. Stop for a moment and picture crisp golden chicken topped off with fries, coleslaw, and a beverage. Sound good? Well, it is good. Stop real soon for the wholesomest food in town. Remember, it's Dog and Suds, where there's no need to get out of your car. You get fast, friendly service and the best food in town. It's the home of Rover, the Coney Dog, and the world's premiumest root beer. Dog and Suds, Route 36, Roaring Spring.
Thank you, Merrill Eversole. And Jim Williams, it looks like the Scarlet Dragons are going to be the Inter-County Conference champs unless something drastic happens in the next 8 minutes and 24 seconds.
It looks like it, Denny. Central just has an overpowering ball club.
All right, they're back to kickoff now. Ron Holsinger kicking. Jesse Riekert is back deep. Kenny Dawson, Ralph Miller. Riekert takes the ball on the 20-yard line. He's got the 25. He's got the 30. He's got the 35. He almost broke it. He gets up to about the 42-yard line, and he was finally dropped by Mike Mock. Rome Collin, correct that. Rome Collin made the tackle, and the Northern Bedford Black Panthers will put it in play now. 1st and 10 on the 42. Riekert almost broke it. Okay, Steve Elvin brings them out with a little over 8 minutes left in the ball game. They're down by 27 points. Elvin calls the signals. Hands off to Ralph Miller, and he's hit behind the line. So anyway, they try to double reverse and bang it, and it's a fumble, and Central recovered, and it's a fumble, and Central recovers and takes over inside the 40 on about the 38-yard line. Well, Lou Yurt, there's another fumble.
Right, Denny. I think that's number 5 now, isn't it?
5 or 6, and every time Central's got field position, they got it again on the 38. Direct snap to Breidenball. He throws the bomb. He's got a man open. Incomplete. He had a man open, but Jesse Riekert defended well and saved the touchdown. He had Greg Irons, had his man beat, but good heads-up play on the part of Jesse Riekert saved the touchdown. A beautifully thrown pass by the Big 33 nominee, Dave Breidenball, Jim Williams.
Right, he just had his fingertips on the ball, but the defender prevented him from catching it, Denny.
All right, we've got a 2nd down and 10 with 7:25 left in the ball game. All right, Breidenball on the shotgun, hands off on an inside handoff this time to, let's see who the ball carrier was, Bobby Wareham, and he moves it down to the 35-yard line. Rick Eichelberger hits him and brings him down. It's a pick up of 4 yards, bring up a 3rd and 6. The clock shows a little over 7 minutes left in the ball game now. All right, Breidenball in a regular T formation this time. Hands off George Oldham through the middle. He's got the first down. He's got it. He's inside the 30-yard. Maybe he don't, but it's very close. Let's wait and see what they signal. He's got the first down inside the 30. He's got the first down. Mark at the 29-yard line. The clock running with 6:39. Central leading in the ball game, 27-0, and they're on the move again. All right, Breidenball sets Mike Mock as a flanker to the far left. He fades the pass. He throws complete to Greg Irons. Greg breaks the block. He's driven out of bounds. Jesse Riekert drives Greg Irons out of bounds on the 20-yard line. It's short of the first down. It's a 2nd down and 1. The ball resting right on the 20. All right, Breidenball brings him out, sets 2 men to the left, 1 to the right. Breidenball hands off right up the middle. He's got the first down. Rome Collin down to about the 15-yard line. Kenny Teeter makes the stop. It's a 1st and 10 for the Dragons. Hand off to Rumcar on the left side this time. He's inside the 15. He's got maybe 3 yards on the play. Pick up about 3, move the ball to the 12-yard line. Joe Clark and Calvin Douglas make the stop, and it's a 2nd down and 7 now for Central. The clock shows 5.5 minutes. The Central Dragons out in front by a score of 20-7-0, and they're driving again. The ball on the 12-yard line, 2nd down and 7. Breidenball brings these Scarlet Dragons out of the huddle. Hands off to the right side. Inside the 10-yard line, I can't say who was the ball carrier. Nevin Gokenauer, the ball carrier, running at fullback, moves the ball down to about the, where is it, the 5-yard line, 6-yard line, Lou? About the 6-yard line, and it's a 3rd and 2. Okay, Breidenball brings him out on the 3rd and 2. The ball on the 6-yard line, 4:35. Breidenball, hands off, right side. He's got the 1st down. He's inside the 5. Bobby Wareham, the ball carrier. Let's see where they spot it. He's got the 1st down. Let's call it at about the, right at the 4-yard line, and it's 1st and 4 yards to go. Kenny Teeter made the stop for Northern Bedford. All right, Breidenball brings him out on the 1st down play. He hands off to George Odom through the right side. Is he in? He's very close. He did not get in. Very close in there, but he did not get into the end zone. Moves it to about the 1-yard line. Looks like it's closer than that, just almost on the goal line, and we'll call it a 2nd down and 1, 3:44 left in the ball game. All right, Breidenball brings him out on the 2nd down and goal to go. Breidenball calls the signals, hands off again. George Oldham, he jumps the line, he's in, touchdown, touchdown Central, and the Dragons go out in front here by a score of 33-0. Ron Holsinger will attempt the conversion. Ricky Younts to hold. The ball is down, the kick is up, and it's good. And with 3:34 left in the ball game, Central is leading by a score of 34-0. And here's Merrill Eversole.
It used to be that all drugstores sold were drugs, period, but times have changed, and nowadays it's almost impossible to enumerate the many products available and the many services offered by Varner's Pharmacy of Roaring Spring. However, Varner's knows that your health still comes first, and so their most important service is the compounding and dispensing of accurate prescriptions. Then, too, when you want good photo service, something for the home medicine cabinet, some cosmetics, a greeting card, the name to remember is Varner's Pharmacy of Roaring Spring.
Okay, thank you, Merrill Eversole and Lou Yurt. It looks like the Northern Bedford Black Panthers have lost this ball game, but we certainly want to compliment them on an outstanding season. They've stayed in the game all night tonight. They've, as Jim Williams would say, they got a lot of guts, and they certainly don't have to be ashamed of losing to a team like Central. This is probably the best Central team ever. There's the kickoff, going downfield, taken by Kenny Dodson on about the 15, the 20, the 25. He gets a block up to the 30, the 35, and hit and finally driven out over on about the 40-yard line. No, Lou, I was saying that Coach John Yacino and his coaching staff have done an outstanding job with this Northern Bedford team, and they are playing a very powerful Central team here tonight. Probably one of the best in Central Pennsylvania, and they don't have to be ashamed of this one, Lou.
No, Denny, I think you're right there. I think we have a good ball club. It's just a case of too many turnovers here tonight.
Okay, Steve Alvin, the sophomore, brings him out. He pitches back to the left side. Ralph Miller, he drives forward to about the 44-yard line. He's hit and dropped. The clock is running with a little over 3 minutes, and Jim Williams, you and I and Denny Conlon, if we can find him, are going to be going to the Central dressing room in a couple minutes. So we'll tell our fans now, stay with us for a locker room interview with the boys, the Inter-County Conference champs.
Stay with us, sports fans.
Okay, it's a pickup of 2 yards, brings up a 2nd down and 8 now for Northern Bedford. Steve Alvin brings him out, looks over the defense. They'd like to get one on the board here. Alvin pitches back to Freddie Glasgow, the freshman around the right side. He gets across the 45 up to the 47-yard line. There are several Central men down on the field. Coach Harry Clark and the team trainer, Dr. Raymond Burkett, are out there. So we have a timeout with 2:25 left in the ball game, and we're going to cut to Merle for a commercial.
Want to be snug and warm all winter long? Of course you do. Here's the recipe. Call Feather Petroleum 793-2139 for Phil Heat. That great Phillips 66 heating oil. Phil Heat in the Cove area is backed by all Feather Petroleum's dependable conveniences. Automatic delivery that gives you a never-ending fuel supply. Radio-controlled trucks, 24-hour burner service, and the budget system discount plan. Come on, be tickled pink and warm. Call Feather Petroleum Martinsburg. Remember, feather service will tickle you.
Thank you, Merrill Eversole. The first Central boy is up and coming off the sidelines. Ronnie Ritchie, he's limping a little bit, but he seems to be all right. They're still working on the other boy. Okay, Orville Sheehan, the other injured player, being helped off the field, and time is in now with 2nd and 8 for Northern Bedford. Flags being thrown, whistles being blown, and we got the clock never started. The whistle's blown before the play. It's an illegal procedure call against Northern Bedford, and that moves the ball back to the 44. All right, Steve Elvin brings them out with 2:25 left in the ball game. They'd like to get on the scoreboard here. Elvin fades the pass. Pass in deflected, blocked over there by Greg Hines, I believe. And Lee Yurdy break up the pass play, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down now for the Black Panthers. It brings up a 4th and 8, but of course the Panthers with 2:23 will definitely go for it. They're down 34-0. All right, Elvin, halfback pass. Ralph Miller throws down the middle. Intercepted. Kent Croft, the defensive safety man, makes a big interception for Central, and they take the ball now 1st and 10 on about their own 40-yard line with 2:07 left here in the ball game. Central has put another one on the books here tonight. It's 34-0, but there's 2 minutes and anything can happen. Jim Williams, go find Denny Conlon. Let's get set up for our locker room interview. Okay, Dave Breidenball, the quarterback, brings him out. Tips Greg Hines forward to the right. He's going to throw one. Breidenball throws long. Mike Mock, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Mike Mock. Incomplete, and minute 43, 2nd down. Breidenball fades the pass again. He throws another one down there. Bomb, it's caught. Greg Hines. Jesse Rickard is riding his back. He levels. Northern Bedford recovers. Ralph Miller recovers for Northern Bedford. Greg Hines caught the pass on a dead run. Little Jesse Rickard, the All-State nominee, jumped on his back, and Greg carried him for about 10 yards, and he attempted the lateral back to Ron Collin. The ball was fumbled, and Ralph Miller fell on it for Northern Bedford, saved a touchdown, and Northern Bedford has the ball 1st and 10. Ride 'em, Cowboy. And with a minute 32, Northern Bedford calls a timeout, and with a timeout, here's Merrill.
Have you ever wondered where you could find an insurance man who is not only qualified, experienced, and knowledgeable, but who will also be around for years to come? It may be nice to buy insurance from a friend or relative, but will he be able to give your claims the prompt service that may be needed? Can you count on your insurance man to be on your side whenever a claim arises? There's one man you can always count on. That's Kenneth C. Stover of 817 U Street, Roaring Spring. Ken handles only good insurance, and he's a good man to see if you're buying or selling real estate.
Okay, Northern Bedford takes over on about their own 13-yard line with a minute 32. Steve Elvin calls the signals. Elvin pitches back to Freddie Glasgow, the freshman. He goes around the right side up to about the 15-yard line, and he was hit and dumped. Brian Gates made the stop for Central. Clock running now with a minute 18, a minute 17. Okay, 2nd down and 7 now, and Steve Elvin spreads them all over the field this time. He hands up the middle, hand up right up the middle, and it's up to the 20-yard line, and I believe it, is there a flag? I believe there is a flag on the play. All right, the penalty refused. Pitch back this time. Freddie Glasgow around the left side, and he's finally hit and driven back at about the 20-yard line. He did not get the 1st down. Mark Steele and Brian Gates racking him up right at the line of scrimmage. He's lost 2 yards, as a matter of fact, and it brings up a 3rd and 4. 15 seconds, the clock running. This will probably be the last play of the ball game. Steve Elvin brings him out. He fades the pass. He throws. Complete to Kenny Dawson. He brings it across the 30. The clock is running. 2-1. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the ball game. The Central Scarlet Dragons win the ball game here tonight by a score of 34-0. Again, we're going to the locker room for an interview. Stay with us for a locker room interview, but our congratulations to Northern Bedford High School on an outstanding season. They certainly don't have to be ashamed. They played good, hard-nosed football here tonight. We commend you, Coach John Yacino, and your Northern Bedford Black Panthers. And on the other side, the Scarlet Dragons win the Inter-County Conference Group A Championship. We're now going to the locker room. Stay with us. Central players calling. We're number 1. We're going to get some interviews here. First of all, Dave Breidenball, tri-captain, quarterback, and Big 33 nominee.
Dave, beautiful game. You won the Inter-County Conference tonight, and I've never seen your passing better, Dave.
Well, it was just one of those nights. Everybody did a real fine job tonight. It was a real fine effort from everybody, and we really did what we had to, and we really beat them.
Okay, Dave, good game. Who do we have here? All right, Rum Collin, good running again tonight, Rum. As usual, tremendous game. How's it feel to be a champ?
It feels pretty good, Denny. They were one of the better teams. They really hit, I thought, out there. They never gave up, and they always hit.
Bobby Wareham, tremendous game out there tonight, Bobby.
Thank you, Danny.
You really ran good, and some of the best running I've seen all year on the part of the Central team. Weapon good, Bob.
Thank you.
Brian Gates, Brian, tremendous defensive play out there tonight. A beautiful ball game, Brian.
Yeah, thanks. They thought they were going to try to scare us with that $25 thing in my head, but I guess he didn't get it.
I don't know anything about that, but you played a tremendous ball game, Brian. Lee Yurdy, tremendous game again tonight as usual. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Played a real good defensive game out there again, Lee.
Thanks.
Bobby Kaufman, the starting center here for Central. Good game tonight, Robert.
Yeah, we knew we did what we had to do.
You certainly did, and we can get him here with his jersey half over his head. Here's Mark Steele. Mark, you played a tremendous ball game out there again tonight. Good game.
Thank you, Danny. I'm real happy about the way we played, and I just knew we could do it all the time.
Okay, Mark Steele, thank you. Nevin Dogenar, the senior tri-captain, and Nevin, congratulations. You picked the fumble up tonight. You went with it. It was a good one.
Yeah, I know. It was a lucky bounce. I always get them, Danny.
Well, you certainly went with it. There was no denying when you got your hands on it, Nevin.
I know once I got it, I was looking for the goal line.
Okay, congratulations. A good game, Nevin.
Thanks, Danny.
Jeremy Walters, you played another tremendous ball game tonight. Good game, Jeremy.
Oh, thank you.
Really, I said one time you took 2 steps and you were 10 yards in the backfield, Jeremy.
Oh, gee. I don't know. It's not my fault. I'm tall, I guess.
No, but you've certainly been playing good ball. Congratulations. Greg Imes, another senior tri-captain. Greg, I know you caught 5 or 6 passes out there tonight, one for a TD. Tremendous ball game, Greg, and a tremendous team effort.
Well, the whole team brought good to give Dave plenty of time to throw, and the team did a good job.
It certainly did. Congratulations. Ronnie Leedy, Bobby Leedy, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of your father. Bobby, you played another tremendous game out there at offensive tackle again tonight. Good game, guard. Okay, where were you playing? I know you're number 67, right?
Right.
Good game,
Thank you.
Okay, good game. Bobby Leedy, I think of your grandfather and your father, and I get the names wrong, but a good game, Bob.
Thank you.
Mike Mock, the star running halfback. Good game, Mike.
Thanks, Danny.
Played a real good game. Got a little rough out there, didn't it, Mike?
Yeah.
It's a good hard-hitting ball game.
No.
No, wasn't hard-hitting?
No, I thought we could lick.
Okay, you did good, Mike. Good game again tonight.
Thanks, Danny.
Coach Harry Clark, congratulations. This is another one, the Inter-County Conference Group A Championship. You overwhelmed them there, 34-0. A tremendous ball game. Our congratulations to you and your team, Coach.
Thanks, Denny. I think it was just a case of a good big team against a good little team. I think we're just a little too strong for them. We're a little bigger, and we're strong, and they played hard right up to the end, but we hit them pretty hard tonight, and I know we caused a few of those fumbles. They just didn't fumble because they were dropping the ball, but we were really up. Our kids were up, so it was a good effort.
It was certainly one of Central's better ball games. The passing was right on the button. Even the few that we missed were right in there, Coach Clark.
Yeah, Dave didn't throw too much, but when he did, why, he was right there, and we, of course, put ourselves in good position a couple of times on passes. And this last one could have set up another one if Greg had held onto the ball, but it's one of those things.
He was attempting to lateral that, wasn't he, Coach?
Yes, he was trying to lateral. I don't know who he was trying to lateral to, but there was someone there, and the boy had him by the arms. He couldn't get rid of the ball.
I didn't get Greg's complete receptions tonight, but I know it was at least 5 or 6, and he played his usual good defensive game. Are we ready now to ask somebody to give him a Big 33 nomination, Coach?
I would say so, yes.
He certainly earned it tonight.
Bet he did.
Thank you again, Coach Harry Clark, head coach of the Scarlet Dragons. Congratulations on winning the Inter-County Conference Championship. Okay, we've made our way now to the Northern Bedford Black Panther locker room, and we're talking now with head coach of the Black Panthers, John Yacino. John, you played a very fine, good Central team tonight, and you took one on the nose, but
you certainly don't have to be ashamed of an 8-1 record, even though I realize how dejected this must be to go right up to the last game with everything riding on it and lose it, Coach.
Yes, Denny, it's hard to take. The boys are very dejected, but really I don't see why they should be. Central was a good, strong, big team, and we're a lot smaller, but I think that if you ask them, they know they were in a game, although the score, 34-0, doesn't really show the hitting that was going on in there in that game.
Well, I want to say this, Coach Yacino, on behalf of myself and the staff and management of WKMC, we wish to congratulate you on the outstanding year with an 8-1 record, and we have enjoyed doing your ball games. You, your staff, and your student body in general have been total gentlemen.
Well, thank you, Denny, and we appreciate you coming down, and we know you've gone out of your way many times this year, and coaches, the team, sure do appreciate it. And in closing, I'd just like to say, wait till next year.
Okay, Coach John Yacino of the Black Panthers.
Okay, there you have it from both the Central Scarlet Dragon and the Northern Bedford Black Panther locker rooms. With me here now is, of course, Lou Yurt and Jack Hewlin. And Lou and Jack, the voice of the Panthers, I certainly want to take this opportunity to thank both of you for the tremendous help and assistance that you have given me this year in bringing football to Northern Bedford country over radio station WKMC, Lou.
Well, Denny, it was a lot of fun. I imagine Jack feels the same way. I really enjoyed doing the games this year, and I was very glad that you asked us to help you out on this.
Well, I certainly have enjoyed having you. And Jack, what do I say to a guy like you? You never had a microphone in your hand before. You grabbed it and you ran with it. You did a couple games without me. As a matter of fact, some of your fans told me I should quit and give it to you. Today, as I said earlier in the game, your wife went into the hospital under an emergency, yet you were still available for our remote today. You did an outstanding job. Jack, it's been a real pleasure working with you.
Thank you very much, Danny. It's been quite an experience, and I'm looking forward to maybe helping you out again next year.
Jack, we're looking forward to that. And standing here is our big tycoon, Jim Williams, who carries out his assignments well. And Jim and I will be back next week with the Huntington game. And Jim, how do you see tonight's game?
Well, it was a hard-fought ball game, Denny. Northern Bedford, they didn't give up, obviously, but they were just a little bit too small for Central. As we mentioned, I think this is one of the best football teams Central has had in many a year. And they just overpowered them and wore them down. The one coming up next week isn't going to be an easy one either, Denny. It's going to be a big one.
Well, there's one thing about it, though, Jim. Talking about the Huntington game next week, looking at the Center Counties League games that the teams that Central is playing, we're looking at 4 this year in Holliesburg, who we lost 1 point by a 2-point conversion. We tied Tyrone, who is leading the Western Conference. We beat Mount Union, and we have Huntington coming next week. I think Central has demonstrated beyond any doubt that they're able to play anybody in Central Pennsylvania, Jim.
They're definitely one of the best teams in this part of the state, Denny. I haven't been able to really follow Huntington that much, and unfortunately, I haven't. I don't know about you, but I haven't seen Huntington play. But I hear they're pretty strong. I was talking to Jim Rosseye, senior, in the Hollidaysburg after the Hollidaysburg Huntington game, and he said they're very strong. So we should have a good one coming up.
Okay, Jim, and we'll be back with you next week. And Merle Eversole, it's been a pleasure again with you, but you're not done yet. You're going to be back next year, too, and I'm going to turn it over to you and let you wrap it up. But before I do, I want to again say that on behalf of Lou Yurt, Jack Hewlin, Jim Williams, Denny Collin, this is Denny Albright saying good night and good sports, and to you to wrap it up, Merle.
Okay, Denny, tonight's game was brought to you by Feather Petroleum of Martinsburg, suppliers of Phil Heat and other Phillips 66 products. Feather's service will tickle you. Varner's Pharmacy of Roaring Spring, the finest in home remedies, photo service and cosmetics, accurate prescription service always. Tennessee Silver, Insurance and Real Estate of Roaring Spring, your protection and satisfaction our greatest concern. Dog and Suds Drive-In Restaurant of Roaring Spring, home of Rover, the Coney Dog, and the world's creamiest root beer. That's it from Athletic Park in Roaring Spring. The crowd's gone, everything is quiet. Good night and good sport.